So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We're gonna talk about what happened last night, and it was this: Conte was officially sacked, and it's not just the fact that he was sacked; it's no replacement. It's Stellini stays, which suggests to me there is a big problem with that. There is a poll on the Full Time Sports Network YouTube. Is it right? Is it wrong? Please let me know because I'm not a Tottenham fan. I'm a rival fan, but I want to talk about this because I think it's absolutely crazy. Obviously, last week there was rumblings about it. It got to a point where you just weren't too sure if he was going to be sacked or not, but he has been. Stellini stays. I don't know if the Tottenham fans are happy about that because Stellini has stepped in when Conte was ill. Don't know if you think that he's the right man for the end of the season because obviously top four is not secured. It's mad. Big up to Rebel. The whole demographic between Conte and Spurs was a mess. Hopefully, a bigger eviction will be happening this week. I know where you're going from. You're a United fan, but yeah, hopefully we'll bring that news when it comes as well. But this is Conte, and I did a little bit of research into the numbers with Conte and previous managers as well. I wonder if we should say his replacement coming sooner rather than later. But who is the right man? Exactly, Colm. Who is the right man? Now, obviously, I can officially tell you that Tuchel was close, but Munich came in and grabbed him. Nagelsmann is being talked about. I think he would want reassurances that Kane's staying. That's still a big question mark as well. It's so crazy at Tottenham, and I'd love to hear from Tottenham fans. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Maybe not necessarily the Conte sacking, but the fact that the Stellini is staying until the end of the season. Now that obviously can change, but at the moment, Stellini is there. He was part of Conte's team. He did step in whilst Conte was ill. I don't think he did a very good job personally, but a lot of the orders could have been coming from Conte, so I don't really know. But I wanted to have a little bit of background on Conte. Now, obviously, you've had quite a few managers in the past few years. I'm not going to really talk about Nuno Santo, wasn't there long enough. Ryan Mason obviously stepped in as caretaker for a while. So I've gone back and looked at the three longest serving in the last decade. So you've got Poch, you've got Mourinho, and you've got Conte. Now, out of the three, obviously Poch is being talked about as well. Poch has the better points per match as Tottenham manager. He's got a 1.84 record. Played 293 games. Well, he didn't play, but he managed 293 games for Tottenham. 160 wins, 60 draws, 73 losses, and it's a 1.84 average. Now we're going to go to Jose Mourinho. Was there 86 games, 45 wins, 17 draws, 24 losses. Obviously, there's a lot more about Mourinho that you probably wouldn't like as well. But his average was 1.77. Then we go into Antonio Conte. Now, he's had a sublime record since he's been a coach. Juventus 2.28, Italy coach 2, Chelsea 2.12, Inter 2.11, Tottenham 1.78. Now, you can either believe what he said regarding, blaming it all on the Tottenham philosophy and their mindset and all this stuff and players letting him down. But he's the one that chooses the players. He's the one that signs. He's the one that puts the squad out. He's the one that picks certain players over other players. I'm not a Tottenham fan, so I'm definitely not going to say who's better than who and who should be playing and who shouldn't be playing. That's not my place. I'm a rival fan. It's not fair for me to mention it. But Do you blame Levy and Joe? I've got to bring Joe into it because he does own you. Or do you blame Conte and the way that he sets up? Now, I do a lot of watch-alongs on Full-Time Sports Network. I've watched Tottenham plenty this season. They're not the worst team I've watched this season. However, they only have 45 minutes good in them. Other than that, they are kind of boring and kind of, yeah, it's not entertaining football at Tottenham this season. So is it the football style? Don't know. Is it? See, I can see why Tottenham have lost their minds with him a little bit with how he did his last press conference. I totally understand that they would be angry with the way that he did it, but if you're a rival fan, even if you might be even a Tottenham fan, looking at it and go, he's not exactly wrong. You know, and Matthew says it right. It's 50-50. For me, it is 50-50. I don't think Conte's done the best job he could have done. I don't think he's managed the games very well, but it's also on Tottenham. They didn't fully back him. Now, I've got some stats to back that up, but I'm going to go into Colm's message here as well. Results based, it's a weird one as they're not doing that bad, but the comments he has made about the owners and the players at Spurs made this inevitable. It did definitely make it inevitable, and the reason it's taken so long is obviously that they wanted someone in. Now, Tuchel was very close last week. Potts, there was talks, Nagelsmann rumours. But I think it got to a point over the weekend when just Conte was not going to apologise, didn't want to really come back. Obviously, Tottenham don't really want to have to pay the amount of money they have to pay to release him because he is out of contract this summer. And it just got to a head at the weekend and they went, enough is enough. But the big shock for me is the fact that Stellini stays because Stellini for me hasn't done anything to like say big up to Mark Cousins, Somerset Spurs. Ding dong, the witch is dead. I couldn't be happier. Well, I'm glad you're happy. Obviously, as a rival fan, it doesn't really affect me, but you're a Spurs fan, so I'm happy that someone's happy. Obviously, I'm streaming this to Paxton Road from Full-Time Sports Network. I'm a rival fan with my opinions on it, but I don't have the right to say if they're right or wrong. So big up to you, Mark Cousins. You're happy. I'm glad you're happy. But where do Tottenham go from here? Because like Matthew said, he wasn't really backed. But I looked at last summer. Let's just do last summer's window or this transfer window. They've spent 177 million euros on players. They only sold 38, so it's an overall balance of minus 139 euros. Now, Jed Spence brought in, loaned out. Christian Romero probably is like the 100% perfect signing. Got a bit of a hot head, but he's a good defender. Richarlison hasn't worked out at all at Tottenham so far. It might do. But yeah, Danjuma brought in the January window. Pedro Porro brought in the January window. Haven't really seen much of Danjuma, and Danjuma is a very good player. Spurs' biggest problem is that they don't know what direction. That is the biggest problem, and they kind of got to work out what are they. Are they a title challenging team? Are they someone that wants to become the Arsenal, the United, the City, the Liverpool? Do they want to challenge for trophies? Or do they just happy just to qualify for Europe, have a little flirt with challenging for trophies? Or do they want to go full in? Now, this is the thing. That's where Tottenham have really got to decide what they want. We need to work out what players Conte wanted versus club purchases. I do get that. But the fact, I think a lot of it, because now it could be, now Antonio's probably gone. These are the positions I want, like right wing backs, because we know how Conte likes to play football, and the players that they've brought in would fit the system. But whether you are right, whether or not they are actually his players per se. Big up to John Campbell, rinse and repeat. Hotspur FC. It is, but this is what Tottenham needs to now to decide. And obviously, I'm assuming Paxton Road will have a proper good chat about this, because I definitely would. What is their objective? Do they just want to keep qualifying for Europe? Do they just want to keep coming in and going, okay, we're happy to have a little bit of a flirt with the European competitions, have a bit of a flirt with cups, have a little bit of a flirt with the Premier League, but that's it? Or do you want to go big in, spend loads of money on a manager, on a very good manager like Nagelsmann, and just go, okay, we're going to go for it now? I know this will actually annoy Tottenham fans, but do you want a process like Arsenal where you have a 5-year project or a 5-step plan project and go, okay, this is what we're going to do. And in hopefully 3 or 4 seasons, we are going to be this type of team and we'll be pushing for stuff. Or do you just want to basically do what John has said? Rinse and repeat Hotspur FC. It's literally the same. They tried to do it with Jose Mourinho because obviously he was a big coach, big personality, big mentality. Really, really did go wrong. Poch, probably the closest they've ever come to a big trophy under him. It's just not working out, and this is what Tottenham need to decide now. Conte won't work with players he didn't want. Exactly, it's a myth. Conte wasn't backed. Compare it to what Poch got. No comparison. Well, there you go. So, why was that amount of money spent when it wasn't for Conte? So what? The money was spent. So it wasn't Conte's, because this is not my club. So I'm not going to comment on something I don't know. Matthew saying here, other options. Ruben Amorim, yep, they'd have to pay a lot of money to get him released though. Roger Schmidt, very good one. And Marcelo Gallardo would be perfect for Spurs. I actually do agree with the Nagelsmann as well. Nagelsmann, but I don't want to sound horrible to Tottenham, but is Tottenham kind of a bit of a step down for Nagelsmann? If you're going from Leipzig to Tottenham, perfect. But he's gone to Munich. It's hard to say that it hasn't worked out because it has. Something's happened behind the scenes, and it's a no return for Nagelsmann. Their next appointment needs to be one for the future and not the now. They had success with Poch, who was an unknown at the time. In reality, Conte and Jose didn't work. Maybe a young one is the way to go. Yeah, and you know what? Out of what Matthew said, Ruben Amorim, for me, would be the perfect one. Because, I think he's very talented. Not Tottenham. Wolves wanted him, but wouldn't pay the 20 million release clause. It's easy to say Conte was backed compared to Poch, but Conte will only work with his first choice players. Yeah, because if you remember when he went to Inter, now a lot of us English fans were probably laughing at the signings he was making. He was like signing Victor Moses and stuff like that. But there are players that specifically for him, it hasn't really been. It doesn't feel like that at Tottenham. It could be. We never really know until Conte comes out. Daniel Levy comes out, mind you, if you want to believe either word of either of them, to be fair. But you never really know. So it's an interesting one. And, it's a case of watch your space. Who will they get in now? I honestly don't know. I think Stellini will be here until the end of the season, and they will probably have had an approach made for someone new. It wouldn't surprise me if it is Ruben Amorim. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Nagelsmann as well, either, to be honest. But it's going to be an interesting one. it's definitely watch this space. If we can bring you the breaking news, if there is any more, we will always bring it to you on Full Time Sports Network, and we'll stream to our sister channels, which is what we're doing now. We're streaming to Paxton Road, so big up to everyone on Paxton Road. But yeah, it's a crazy one. It obviously happened late last night, and I wanted to try and figure out some time to talk about it this morning. But yeah, Tottenham really do need to work out what they're doing, and that is the big problem now. What do they do? You know, I honestly don't know. If I'm being honest, but I'm just looking at the poll here. It's 100% right that they've sacked him. So it is what it is. You know. But I really do appreciate everyone being here. I just wanted to quickly talk about it. Talk about the comparison with Poch and Mourinho. Talk about who possibly could be coming in. Pick up to Sean Hale, like a drunken man staggering around in a red balloon. Welcome to Tottenham Hotspur 2023. Oh, I love it. That's made my Monday morning. That is. They hire me as head coach, and I get a team in and go and win a cup. Well, there you go. Tottenham Hotspur, Daniel Levy, Joe Cole is putting his CV in right now to be your head coach. But Tottenham really do need to work it out. The big thing right now is this season, they need to get somewhere. They need to finish somewhere. Because if you imagine, and I don't want to be sounding horrible towards Tottenham, but if they fail to qualify for Europe, that would be a big problem for Tottenham. So yeah, they must qualify for some form of Europe. Champions League's possible. Europa, very likely. Conference League, yeah, whatever. Who really cares about that one? But guys, I just wanted to do a really quick stream. Let me know if you watch this back on playback. Let me know your comments. I will definitely get back to you. I took Mansfield from non-league to Champions League in 7 seasons. Oh, God. I'm pretty sure you are talking about some form of console game there, mate. Matthew, the biggest issue with Spurs is Levy Enek. Yep, Joe. Under that ownership, the club will never progress to where it wants to be. 100%. I really hope we don't qualify for Europe. 1 game a week for next season. And that's coming from a Tottenham fan. So, you know, big up to everyone. Leave your comments if you do watch this back, and I'll get back to you. I do mainly just want to know, are they right? Are they wrong? Who is the next guy to come in, and what is the purpose, or what is the objective of Tottenham now? But guys, really appreciate it. It's a very quick stream. I've got to go. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.